game, James. And
Beats Planet.
VOCHLONBARDI. I basically defeat the narrative. Whatever the media puts out, whatever the football Illuminati puts out to lead the masses in one direction. I'm film guy. I'm not numbers guy, not stats guy. So I put everything on the screen and make it factual. I bring it to life. And I basically defeat the narrative. You know what I'm saying? So I put everything on the screen. I don't hide nothing from nobody. Voch Lombardi on YouTube, VOCHLONBARDI. Thanks for having me.
yes, and make sure you check out them film sessions because they'd be real, real nice. So we're going to already jump into it. Everybody's talking about our last dud we threw. Hadn't scored, what it was like 2003 or something like that since the last time Dallas Cowboys been shut out. We got shut out by the Colts 23-0. It was a frustrating game for me. I'm going to get you guys to kind of give your insights on the game. But it was a frustrating thing to me first for the simple fact that first half we were moving the ball. I mean, we were moving the ball at will on this defense. I didn't feel like the defense was stopping us. Also, it was a situation where, we had the blocked field goal, and then you had our fullback dropping the touchdown. Lift your camera up a little bit more, Voch, so I can see all of you. There you go. There you go, right there. So that kind of just frustrated me in that first half, and then it just kind of snowballed. First, Voch, since you are a guest appearance on here, kind of tell me what you thought about the game. How do you think it went, and why do you think it kind of went like that?
I think when people realize that all 32 teams are closer to each other than they really think. I think all this kind of stuff will just go out the window. We listen to the morning shows, 4-letter networks, and we tend to buy into what they saying. One week they'll say, "Oh boy, Dak Prescott, he's tough. Dak Prescott is an intangible guy. Dak Prescott's a leader. He can take this team and do everything." But one game will happen and the whole narrative gets split. Oh, can Dak do this? Dak's not able to do that. And people kind of feed into it. And I think if you just slow it down, and just look at the facts, look at what happened. Everybody played terrible. You can't just call this on Dak Prescott, right? The offensive line got three backups on it. Okay, Tyron Smith still kind of rusty or whatever. Leo been doing whatever all year. Wide receivers didn't do a great job of getting open. Defense didn't tackle as well as we're normally used to them tackling. The team just looked kind of flat as a whole, but it happens. It happens. And I just don't want people to get comfortable with the notion. The big talking point this week was shutout. Oh, the Cowboys, they scored 0 touchdowns. Boy, Dak Prescott scored 0 touchdowns. So did Drew Brees. So did guys like Cam Newton. And I know Cowboys fans will push their best friend off a bridge to have Drew Brees up in here. So let's not get caught up in all the extra stuff. We had a bad game. It happens next week. Probably going to be back full intensity, back against the wall. The team plays better that way. I'm not really worried about it.
Mm-hmm. So, Law, give me your little opinion on how you felt about that Colts victory.
I mean, it's a game that we should have won. Basically, we looked at it from the aspect that, yes, we had a lot of guys injured. I think that we played flat. I think that we didn't execute like the infamous Voch Lombardi, who brings the party, said. This is the thing. We need to figure out a way to iron this thing up. Regardless of what happened last week, this has been an ongoing issue from time and time again as far as red zone, money zone, green zone. We need to figure out a way to solve this puzzle. And I think what now some of the talking heads, we already know what they were saying, but I really think that I'm holding this value. Mark Slayer said on First Thing First this morning, he said the Cowboys need to get back to what they was doing in 2016 when he got to the money zone. And I'm talking about the RPO. Dak Prescott, he may not can throw the fade pass. He may not ever will be able to do that. But damn it, he can do the RPO. He can do the run pass option. He can do the spread option, whatever it may be when he get to the end zone, money zone, green zone. They probably need to scale it back and just don't get too creative and give the ball to Ezekiel Elliott or do some type of RPO action down there when you get to that.
Well, I mean, my problem is that when you're looking at the game, Is it Scott Linehan that's making these calls? Is he allowing Dak to be able to check out to do the RPO? Because it seems like when we get in like a 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 8, why does it seem like Dak Prescott is holding on to the ball? Is it play calling? Is the receivers not getting open? I know we're supposed to look at that tape because you can't really see it from the angles when Dak is holding that ball. Everybody's like, as soon as he gets sacked, oh, Dak was holding the ball too long. See, and that's not really the case. It could have been a bad play call. And just like they were saying, you heard it yourself, Voch, last week when Cooper was going off saying he was getting frustrated with the play calling that they were doing the same routes. If that's happening, do you think that could have happened Sunday and the reason why they were guarding our receivers and they were not be able to get open?
At the end of the day, I'm player execution guy, and it's been that way for a long time. I know people just now kind of saying it. That's really 2017, 2016 Voch saying player execution, right? So no matter what the play call is, the play call could be better. Let me just say that first and put that in front of everything else. The play call could, in fact, be better. However, if we execute, the play call works. And it's small things that's setting off the big chain of events that makes it not work. Whether it be, Jameis Olawale drops the ball, now it's, this down and distance. Or perfect example, right? Fourth and 1, right? Everybody's saying that we got shut out, we could have lost the game. On the same token, they're saying, well, we coach to win the game, coach not to lose the game. Okay, well, if we coach to win the game, we're gonna have to go for it on 4th and 1. If we don't block the one tech, if we don't block the Mike linebacker, we don't convert the ball on 4th and 1. So that ends up being no points. No matter what the play call is, if it's not run properly, it doesn't matter. It was plenty times in the game, play call didn't matter. But one thing led to something else, and it threw the whole drive off. You can't play from behind the sticks. You get a holding call, automatically your drive is ended. Because we're not big play down the field team. We're not big 15 yards at a time, team. We're not that guy. So we can't play from 2nd and 20, 1st and 15, 3rd and whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, we just got to play more. And I don't even want to say, because I don't want to get into the refs, man.
Are we undisciplined? Is the team undisciplined? Because Voch, if you're looking at these games, though, I'm just asking, if you're looking at these games, it's a lot of times when we always get I'm going to say always, we get a big first down, 15-yard run. We're down, it's 3rd and 9. We get 12 yards on the pass. Then you always see this yellow flag of a holding penalty, and it's just like, what's going on? Why does this always seem to be happening to us at the critical times of the game?
Holding is a penalty that comes from effort. Has nothing to do with discipline. You hold because you trying. It means you got beat, but you was trying. That's all that means. What undisciplined means is, if I'm Joe Looney, I don't want to play for Coach Garrett. I'm just gonna let the one tech run past me. That's undisciplined. That's undisciplined. And it's mostly that's what it is. It's holding calls. It's holding penalties. False start, not really a discipline penalty like that. So I don't really feed into the narrative of discipline because I know you, James. I know discipline gonna go right into coaching, and I'm gonna go ahead and let you rock, fam. But go ahead.
Well, let me jump in and time in on this type of situation. Yeah. This is what it is. It's continuity. So it's not undisciplined. What it is they are unseasoning, meaning that they don't have time to play with each other for a long period of time. When you saw La'el Collins, when he gives up a deal into the inside. To me personally, that's his first time playing with Connor to his left, you see. And then on top of that, when you kick number 77 out, and he got a guy that's like 3 times as smaller than him, he holds and grabs him to the outside instead of just mauling over him. That's just because he's not aware. He's not used to having Cooper running behind him. So those are things that when we look at this tape, when we look at film, we see that this is not discipline. It's just that they are unseasoning, meaning that they haven't played together for a long period of time. And we see those rust factors, especially when I saw the pocket collapse several times in that game, and the young Dak Prescott couldn't step up through his throw. So it's just what it is, the elite panel. I'm going to call you guys the elite panel. It's just what it is, you know what I mean?
Since Law said that, I actually showed him a film one time. We were in the red zone. They had a gap exchange on the right side, stun or whatever, the Connor Williams had a one take to his side and he crossed his face. Well, Connor didn't kick deep enough. Connor just kind of stayed at the line of scrimmage. So when the guy crossed his face, Lael Collins really wasn't there. You know what I mean? So that could be a continuity thing to where, you know, they're used to, you know, like one side, you know, kicks deeper than the other side. Oh, I'm over here with Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith got great feet. I gotta get moving with Tyron Smith because, you know, Tyron got those super feet. Lael kicks different. So I mean, that could be a thing, Law. Good observation.
But, you know, my thing is, you're talking about the continuity. Redmond came in the game because Xavier went out the game, and then you saw Connor Williams was starting because Zach Martin was out the game. Do you foresee this being a problem? Let's say Zach Martin doesn't play again against the Buccaneers. We need this game. I mean, it's a big game. We need this game. Do you foresee this being an issue this week, or you said that we're going to jump back and kick back? Look at Tampa Bay's defense is terrible. They give up quite a bit of points across the board. They're terrible on the road. I believe they're 1-6 on the road. So this will be a game that will be optimate for the Cowboys to come in and do our thing. But so many times what I get frustrated is that we should have these games that you say, you know what, look at the numbers. We should go ahead and just dominate this team. But so many times we keep teams in the game that we should not keep in the game. And I'm worried about playing these Buccaneers. Will this happen against them? Jameis Winston, I don't think he's great. But you know what? He can get hot against that defense, and anything can happen. Do you foresee that being a problem going against these Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week?
I mean, we know that Dak can play with a bad offensive line, but, you know, the Cowboys ain't gonna be good if Dak's bad and the receiver's bad, and, you know, play calling is, you know, looking kind of funny. Like, I think we can only have two vices. We can't have four. You know what I'm saying? Plus the defense not really giving us the ball back where we want it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't really see us looking as bad as we did versus the Buccaneers. I mean, Suafilo is the people's champion. They love him, but. Mm-hmm. He better than Redmond. I'll give him that much. I am. Look, I do not.
Redmond in that game, I'll scare me.
I do not drink the Kool-Aid. I do not eat the cheese. I am not a Xavier Suafilo fan, but boy, is he better than Redmond.
Yes, indeed. And then you're talking about a backup of the backup of the backup. So that.
Well, I mean, if we have to see Redmond in there again, I'm just praying that dude gets his eye right, put a visor on your head, or do whatever you got to do, but get back in that game because we need these last two. I got two quick questions. One, is this a championship defense?
Hell yeah. His defense exhibit everything that it relates to championship. I do know a lot of people going to look back at the last score and say, wait a minute, hold up, Law. They don't create takeaways, turnovers. And then on top of that, you know, we just don't see the dominance as it relates to the offense, the front four. We want to see one guy spring up here and there, but no. If you look at the game from last week, right, and I hate to go back to the Colts and everything like that, but this is the thing. When your average field of play is at the 50-yard line, of course, when you got 50 yards to go or 44 yards to go, of course you're going to put up money. But one thing that I did see out there is that Andrew Luck, as much as we hate and throw shade and salt at Dak Prescott, Andrew Luck didn't pass over 200 yards. I didn't think he like Voch Lombardi, who brought the party earlier. I don't think Andrew Luck threw a touchdown. And Byron Jones, he's stingy over there. So, yes, this is a pedigree of a championship defense. We just got to get this offense rolling just a little bit better.
All right, well, I'm also got a question since I'm not going to call you a Jason Garrett lover, Voch, because I call you him. I'm not going to call you Jason Garrett lover. But let me just ask this question. So we had this 5-game win streak, right?
Sure.
We lose. So we got 2 games left. Now, if we had that 5-game win streak and everybody said Jerry probably got Jason Garrett's jobs probably got saved, what happens if we lose these last 2, don't get in, and Philly jumps in while winning the last 2? What do you think Jerry would do? Do you think he would still be like, you know what, I'm still going to roll this? Do you think he would make a decision on that?
I have no idea, but Voch would definitely keep the same energy, and I would see what did the team do. It doesn't matter what coach it is, bro. It doesn't matter what coach it is. Your team got to play. You guys got to show up and perform. You know what I mean? And, you know, like I said, and I've been saying this for a while, man, you know, I've yet to see that team quit on Jason Garrett. And that's the biggest head coach quality to me. Everything else falls upon coordinator and player execution. You know what I mean? So it's not my place to say, you know, who gets fired, when gets fired, or who gets fired, or when they get fired. But Just Garrett fan, man. I ain't really trying to see Garrett up out of there because Leo Collins won't turn his shoulders because Redmond got run over because we didn't tackle Marlon Mack. I'm not trying to see my coach get fired over that. Then we go sign a scrub like Vance Joseph and go 1-15. That's what I be talking about.
What about you, Voch? What do you think would have happened?
Voch just answered.
I mean, not you, Voch. I'm sorry.
Focus.
My thing is with this coaching deal, and we're not going to get rid of Jason Garrett. I mean, he only had how many losing seasons? I was sitting wait, right? The best thing that we can do is throw in a new wrinkle, whether it be just for the simple fact that Scott Linehan, wherever he went to, regardless of whatever he started as far as head coaching or being the offensive coordinator, there's a black cloud somewhere around Scott Linehan. And I don't know what it is. So maybe you can throw in a new wrinkle by bringing in somebody new. And I think that this fan base deserves to see something different out there. Now, can Scott Linehan be a good OC for somebody else? Yes. But for this particular offense, for Dak Prescott, if this team would like to build around Dak Prescott and the young Ezekiel Elliott, then I would like to see something different. That's just me. That's my opinion. You guys can lay yours down below in the comment sections.
Yeah, speaking of the comment section, I want to give a few shout outs to some people that's been actually listening to the experience, and we definitely appreciate y'all. D.D. Cruz, Richard Woodard, Jamal Wilkes, Vondell Jackson is in here, Dustin Merriman, we appreciate you, Kerry Teagle, and more. Keep on coming through. Keep your comments coming through. And if you want to ask some questions or post some questions to some of these guys up here today, by all means, jump in here and ask a question. Now, I do also want to say, since we are on the Cowboys Experience page, but since you're on here, you actually got to be able to experience the Cowboy experience just like we have, and it's been an awesome thing, with Barry. We actually hooked up last time on the Detroit game, and we had a great time. But you went another game, and then you got to interview Joe Looney and things of that nature. Kind of tell me how that situation was, and how was your experience with the Cowboys experience?
I mean, Cowboy experience is amazing. Barry is amazing. Barry ain't told me a lie yet. And man ain't told me a lie yet. And that just means so much to me, man. It just means so much, man. Showed me a good time, great hospitality or whatnot, put me around players. I got two tall Jones on my show. Got Drew Pearson on my show. Jeff Heath and all them. Rod Smith, who's my height, just a bit taller than I thought I was tall, but got a chance to talk to Joe Looney. And I was actually live streaming. Got a chance to let some of my people just ask a few questions or whatever. And they ask about Colombo and what is Colombo doing different that what's his face? I forgot his name. Paul Alexander. What's he doing different besides that or whatnot? And And I was expecting Joe to give me some technical jargon about, boy, my hand is at a 95-degree situation, and I was gonna go, yeah, 95 degrees is better than, But he basically told me it was just temperament. It was just temperament and how they prepared. Like, it's not really a big technical change. It's just how they approach things differently or whatever. So I've been fairly surprised with the job that Mark has done with our offensive line, considering that ain't nobody playing, that everybody's hurt. We were even able to run the ball last week without Zach Martin and without Travis Frederick. So salute to all those guys out there, man. I'm a huge offensive line guy, and I see the details. And being able to talk to Joe Looney, me and Barry was talking. Hopefully, we're gonna get me and Joe Looney on the dry erase board and get some X's and O's up there, and that's exciting. So
that would be super exciting.
Oh man, stay tuned for that.
Oh, and stay tuned because he could probably be on this show soon. So definitely stay tuned for that because we love him, and he'll be a perfect character, especially with some good breakdowns on that board. So going forward. We're getting ready. Like I said, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then we got the Giants at the end of the year. So what do you think are going to be the keys to this game against the Buccaneers? What do you feel like the Dallas needs to do on the defensive side against the Buccaneers, and what do you think we need to do offensively against their defense in this game coming up?
Oh, man, I'm going to start off with the offense, man. We need to score early and often. I think that this team is designed to play with the lead. And then also, if they can control the TOP, for those who know me, they know what that means, right? TOP, if we control that, then we can get this thing going in the right direction. Now, as far as defensive-wise, I'm going to let Voch Lombardi hold that. But offensive, we need to just score early and often and correct those red zone, money zone, green zone issues.
And correct the penalties because the penalties have been killing us. Every time we get a first down or a big play, we get a big holding or something. And just like Voch was talking about, when we get like 2nd and 12, 2nd and 15, 2nd and 17, it just seems like it spells disaster for our offense. So we definitely got to keep down and distance for this offense and continue to get Zeke the ball, in critical areas. I said one big thing to me was how much Zeke has got the ball in the passing game this year. I will give a lot of credit for that because a lot of people are saying that Zeke wasn't involved and he wasn't that type of guy to get the receiving catches, and he has shown a lot more this year, career high in catches. What about you, Voch? What do we think you need? What do you think Dallas needs to do on the defensive side against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Last week, I don't think our linebackers were as effective as they normally were. They made tackles because they were there, but they weren't as effective. We've got to be nastier in A gap. We got to be nastier in B gap. Antoine Woods, Malik Collins, my man Karan Reed, 51. Those guys, when they're playing nasty and our linebackers get to run free, the defense is ridiculous. And that's kind of why Marlon Mack was able to get off a little bit. Two things you got to do to run the zone correctly. You got to deal with a gap. You got to block the mic. Both things happen against us. So I would like for us against Tampa Bay, because that offensive line ain't that great. I would like for Antoine Woods to get back going. I would like for Malik Collins, Tyrone Crawford, when he's in there, Karan Reed, I would like those guys to get back going.
I mean, we give credit to the Colts. I mean, they had one of the highest sack totals last year for them. I think they had 56 sacks last year, and they went from one of the highest to one of the least. I believe they only give up 15 this season, and we didn't touch them in that backfield. I got to give a shout-out to Kelly because he was doing his thing against Woods, and also Quentin Nelson, a big draft pick that came from Notre Dame. And I know you broke down film on him, Voch, and I know you liked him, didn't you? Because I know I liked him. I thought he was a good player.
I love those guys. Quentin Nelson was the best player in the draft, and I still stand by that, but it's a Cowboys show, and I can't be too pro Quentin Nelson around here.
I feel you. I'm just
hey. Who you kick off the bridge, though? Who you kick off the bridge?
Hey, but we got to say, though, if you're saying that we saw something against them, well, this is something that we have to look at going forward again the rest of the season, because you know how it is when the playoffs come. A lot of things get a lot more tighter in the playoffs. And do we count on David Irving coming back? I mean, what is the issue with Sean Lee? Is he going to continue to come off the bench? How do you think they're going to work this lineup going forward with that?
You asked me a handful of questions, but about that Quentin Nelson thing moving forward, there ain't that many more of them, brother. So that's good. That's good luck right there. Quentin Nelson over there, and we got the other one, Zach Martin. Ain't that many more nasty, ridiculous right guards. But as far as moving forward, I mean, yeah, we'll be fine, man. We'll be fine because. I mean, like I said, man. I mean, we did this versus Quentin Nelson. It should be easy peasy from here on out. As far as moving forward with David Irving, man, I fully expect us to find a little bit of depth at that spot, man. Because I mean, salute to David Irving, but I don't necessarily think
play this year.
He'll play this year. Sure, he'll play for the play. I think David Irving will come in for the playoffs, and when all the hard work is behind us and there's nothing but glory in front of us. You know what I'm saying? He'll just walk in and he'll play for the playoffs. But I don't think he'll be back next year, fam. Malik's doing well. I think we could just kind of plug guys in at one tech, and it just happens to be in this draft coming up. It's a lot of 3 techs in this draft, buddy. Sorry, David.
What do you think, Law?
Bye, Felicia.
I'll let you.
Man, I seen David Irving. He's part of the Cowboys experience, so he may be watching this show live right now. But what I will say to David Irving, just we gonna still say it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat. I'll bring the real. But
right.
What I would like for David Irving to do is just go ahead and check out of football and get his life situation together, get his daughter together, and find a baby, another lady that he can just, corral and make love to and just be with and be happy and ever after. Because after that, this football life is not his life right now. And because one can contest the fact that he got so many issues going on off the field. Let's just give him a job with that law office firm or something like that. Maybe he could be a paralegal or something. But playing football.
Be a model.
What'd you say?
He said he wanted to be a model.
Oh, get him out of here. Get David Irving out of here right
him
now.
And his nipple ring can go be a model somewhere. I love the Cowboys.
Scratch that name tag off that locker right now. Scratch that name tag off that locker right now.
Hey, and I love 95. I always say live like 95. So maybe we can give somebody else that number.
Nasty,
and they can show up and be
I mean, let's keep it real. I've told y'all from the very beginning that I don't think David Irving liked football at all. I just think that he was 6'7", 300 pounds, and sometimes.
But man,
I know
good though.
I've coached
But
football. You just seen players that have that size. They don't really like the game, but they're just so big and talented. They play it, and I just feel like that's what David Irving is to me. I just think he's a supremely talented player that just don't really like football.
James, I feel you, man. But when he beat the guard and hit Aaron Rodgers in the mouth and do the Superman stance,
you know
boy, I need four games of that in the playoffs. I just need 4 games of that, and he could just do whatever he want to do after that, man. Dang.
And we can't never keep him for 16 games. Just imagine if we had that talent for 16
James,
games.
I don't need 16.
He would take our defense from here to here, and I don't understand how you can have guys that talented and they don't see how much he could change our whole defense.
James.
I mean, our defense is very good now. He could just take that defense to a whole different level, just him by itself. You saw that game against the Colts. If he was in that game, that changed the whole game. Antoine Woods is better when David Irving's in there. You know, Reed is better. Collins is better. He makes everybody on that front line better because the attention that he brings. Period.
If I had 4 games with David Irving, just only 4, boy, it'll be them last 4 that's most important, man. Yeah. Man, it'll be them last 4.
You saying something because it's all we need is 4 games.
I don't want David to play Tampa Bay. I don't want David to play the Giants. I don't want him to play preseason next year. He can go play with the Browns preseason next year. I don't care. Just give me 4 of them nasty ones. You know them ones that David Irving give us. Give me 4 of them, and I'm good, man.
We're gonna get him. Hopefully we get him in these playoffs. Now, there's another guy that's on that defensive line that a lot of people have been talking about. Some people said he could be traded next year. We don't know. It's Taco Charlton. He's got 1 sack this year. I thought it was going to be a lot of big things for him. I didn't think he was never going to be a 10-sack guy, but I thought he'd get like maybe 7 this year. I did think that. I knew he would be a problem with him because, to me, he is strictly a left defensive end, and he's not taking DeMarcus Lawrence's spot. Every time I see him on the right end, he struggles to me, and I think Randy Gregory is better on that right side. Now you're talking about, well, he had a shoulder injury, but now it's really he's in the doghouse. What do y'all really think about what the deal with this Taco Charlton thing?
Oh, man, Taco. I think that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and and Will McClay, they may be on the phone. They may be calling the Raiders. Maybe the Raiders bite because they thought they was going to get a good first-round draft pick from us in the Chicago Bears, but we keep on winning. I'm losing my voice a little bit. But this is the thing. What we need to do is Jerry Jones need to get on the phone with the Oakland Raiders and say, hey, what's up? What's up, man? You guys
what's up, Ken Folk? Hey, Ken Folk.
What's up, man? Go ahead, Voch.
Oh, man. I kind of feel bad for Taco, man. Taco was on his way, but boy, Randy Gregory special, man. Boy, Randy Gregory. Look, I'm so proud of Randy Gregory for overcoming all his adversities. He's gotten his life together. He's there for his daughter, but Big Game James. Randy Gregory don't even know how to play defensive end yet. And got 6 sacks in 5 games. You know what I mean? And he don't even know how to use his hands.
We didn't even seen this good. Next year is when you're going to see. You ain't even seeing it this year.
I was watching film, Big Game John. I was watching film. It was against the Eagles. And Randy met DeMarcus Lawrence at Carson Wentz. They met together. But the route in which they got there was so different. Like DeMarcus Lawrence looked polished. He came off the ball. Not as athletic looking, and he wrist controlled, got a good little jab move, and he turned, and he met at Carson Wentz, right? But it looked like he had to work hard to get there, Big Game James.
Right.
And Randy just rolled out the bed and just boom, and just met DeMarcus Lawrence at Carson Wentz.
Didn't even know what he was doing. Got there.
Didn't use his hands. He was in the wrong stance. His base was nasty. It didn't look really good at all. But he just naturally, and he was there. Man, I can't wait till Randy Gregory learn how to use his hands. Man, I can't wait till Randy Gregory start pass rushing with a plan. Man, I can't wait till Randy Gregory starts stringing moves together and starts countering pass rush moves because he's getting it done without none of that right now.
Right, yeah.
This is basically his first year of football, basically, honestly.
For real. I mean, for the long term, because we never even got to see him long term because he was always getting hurt. Things were always happening. And shout outs to Randy Gregory, too, just like you said. A lot of people were doubting him, even coming back. You were hearing the little news. People were trying to say, "Oh, Randy Gregory something might be going on," and they were still trying to bash him. And for a fact that he still kept it together, hasn't fallen off, still has persevered, and has a pretty good year. Just like you said, has had a pretty good year, and is only going to continue to get better. I can't wait to hopefully we get in these playoffs to see what he's going to do, and I think he's really going to wreck shop. So shout outs to him. So the consensus is Taco might just get traded because he's just never going to get that opportunity. They kind of that was a bad pick.
And see, and wait, that's where I disagree though, James. That's where I disagree.
Talk to me.
I don't think Taco is a bad pick. It's just hard to be productive when Randy is there. But depth is important. Plus, I think Taco has the frame to where if you add a little bit, he can play 3-tech in this new NFL. Voch Lombardi is going to tell you right now, I watch a lot of film. I think edge rushers are about to go obsolete in about 4 years because offensive coordinators have found a way to brilliant their way into reducing production from left ends. We can read you, we can hot route you, we can find dump offs, we can find a way to neutralize outside edge players. But these 3-techs and 1-techs, that can get nasty pressure up the middle and push the pocket so you can't step up into it, those guys are going to become a lot more important. I love Von Miller, but he's nasty on the outside. Aaron Donald gets to the quarterback way quicker than he does. So when we look at the draft coming up, you see you guys like Quinnen Williams, the best player in the draft in my opinion. We see guys like Ed Oliver. We see Jeffrey Simmons, these other little nasty 3-techs, Rashawn Gary, that can get upfield quick, fast, and in a hurry. I think that's where the game is headed. So you look at Taco, big old kid, long arms.
Yeah.
Still growing. I think in the offseason, you give him a peanut butter sandwich, 2 bananas and some, muscle milk or something like that. I think he'll get about 15 or so pounds and he'll be able to play some type of 3-tech in one of our passing scenarios. That's just my opinion. Plus, one more thing, and I'm going to let you go. It was right around this time a couple of, like last year, a couple months ago, people were saying, hey, man, we need to trade Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis ain't really doing nothing. He's just kind of a player that can play. Maybe we can get something back for him. Depth is important, We're one, knock on wood, away from needing Taco Charlton. You know what I mean? So I'm not really trying to get rid of him like that.
All right. Yeah. Definitely good insight on that. And like you see, David Irving, I mean, you can use him as a classic case. When he came with the Cowboys, he was playing more defensive end, and then he kind of morphed himself into that defensive tackle, and they kind of just kept him there because he's just so dominating there. It's kind of like you don't even want to keep him on the outside because of the havoc he creates. You're talking about Aaron Donald. He's like 6 foot. You got a David Irving. He's 6'7" coming on that inside, and Taco's every bit of 6'6", and he's big. So, yes, that could be something that can happen down the line as far as Dallas doing that. Now, since we talked about you brought some people up in the draft, and I was kind of going to head that way.
Sure.
The draft is going to be coming up. We still have some holes to fill. What do you think, I'm going to ask both of y'all, what do you think are like the top 3 needs the Cowboys are going to be looking heading in toward the draft?
Inside. What he just mentioned. They're going to look for somebody that can plug that middle, hopefully with that defensive front. And then on top of that, they may look at safety. Those are the 2 glaring holes that they're going to look at. And believe it or not, Cowboy Nation, I have to say this. And you guys know I'm going to say this. They may look at offensive line again.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with every year you should look at offensive line. Every year you should always
quarterback too. Yeah.
I'm with you. People, and, Law just kind of said safety or whatever, and I'm just hearing a lot of people, Jeff Heath, first name pops up, get Jeff Heath. I'm fine with Jeff Heath, especially going into this draft, because I know at some point money's going to have to get put in certain spots, and guys may or may not be here. I'm looking at nickel corners. I'm looking at 3-techs. I think we can find 1-techs. We're just good at finding 1-techs. 3-techs, and I'm trying to find offensive linemen. I think our offense comes and goes as the offensive line comes and goes. That's just my opinion. When the offense is available, when the offensive line is available, they're looking amazing. They're looking great. There's nothing you can tell me about young Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott when his offensive line is top tier. That offensive line takes hits. The entire offense takes a hit. And like we were saying earlier, David Irving may not be here. Malik Collins may not get paid. Tyrone Crawford's a little older now. We're just going to have to look at the steps moving in that direction. Not that we're going to cut those guys, but, it's better to have a guy just waiting if, just in case we, do have to make a move. So I'm not trying to draft a tight end, honestly.
I was just about to, that's the question I was going to ask. Should we go ahead and draft a tight end? Blake Jarwin has been looking better. Jeff Swain has looked okay. And then you've seen Schultz got some good reps against the Colts. I don't understand. Rico Gathers is playing more, but they're using him more to block, and they're not using him to catch the ball. I don't understand that. I don't know what point they're trying to prove. But so you think we're solidified at the tight end? We don't really need to go after a veteran or grab a high-end, fast-type tight end?
Man,
I think that probably Rico, and as much as we love Rico, this may be his last year, believe it or not. Right. And then on top of that, they may go out and grab a veteran tight end just to insert on this particular roster during the offseason to see whether or not he can gel well with Dak Prescott and his plays. Mm-hmm. So when you mention also with the defensive ends and things like that, don't sleep on Dorrance Armstrong. He is a guy that's developing too. And then also, and anybody know in the chat box, anybody know whether or not Tyrone Crawford, is this his last year? Will they re-sign him? Or will they just say, okay, you've been a good, serviceable guy, but we probably need a little bit more production from there. So it's just going to be one of those off seasons where we really going to have to turn some stones over and see what we can do with it.
Well, I see a lot of people saying offensive line, defensive tackle. A lot of people are agreeing with you. I'm going to give a few shout outs to some people that are in the chat box right now. Alex Rodriguez, Juwan James, Buddha Shabazz, Vondell, of course, Jackson, Marvin Hargrove Sr. has jumped in, said what's up to everybody on the panel. So we definitely got to give them shout out. Didi Cruz, another one as well that's been saying what's up. And a lot of people have been agreeing with you guys with the offensive line and the defensive line because, honestly, that's where the teams are built anyway. That's where you're really going to win in the trenches. I feel like the reason why we lost that game was in the trenches. We didn't get any pressure on Andrew Luck, and he didn't even really dominate that game. It was really whatever the heck name, Marlon Mack, where is he from? Because I don't even know who that dude is.
Marlon Mack played ball in South Florida. I think he was a 4th-round pick. I liked him. But that could be because I'm draft guy and I just happen to see Marlon Mack. But Marlon Mack's not really a star, but I knew that if you put him with Andrew Luck, he could definitely play. Big Mac fan, big Mac fan.
Okay, now you're also a big Sean Lee fan, Voch.
Sure.
And I asked you a few questions on Twitter because people were saying, what should they do? Sean Lee was coming off the bench, and then Dallas said they don't really want to mess with the mojo right now. So what do you think they should do with Sean Lee going forward after this season?
Man, you just had to throw that little curveball right at the end of the season, right at the end of the sentence, huh? Just after this season, man. I ain't really just trying to get rid of Pro Bowl players like that. And
he's making $9 million a year, and his production is great. But when he doesn't play, so don't you think production and being on the field has something to do with how great you are?
I may or may not be wrong, but I think Sean Lee's contract got a lot of incentive in it. So I think he gets paid as he plays. I think that's the reason why his contract is like $5 million or something like that. Man, look, if Sean Lee's playing, I ain't got no problem with it. Go play. Go get him. Whatever, as long as he's playing. But, it's just that, we're not trying to pay him while he's sitting down, So as long as his contract is incentive based, then I'm fine with that. Now if he decides to take his business to South Beach or something like that to go be a full-time cat, hey, this is Van Der Esch team, I can't hate him for that. But I'm just not trying to get a Pro Bowler about the paint. It's not like Sean Lee's old and he's playing old. Sean's still top tier. He just lays down and go ouch. So, if we could just not pay him when he's hurt, then that's all that is.
What about you, Law?
Oh, man. To me personally, it's just the end of the road. Although we go, how you say, although we go to the end of the road. Hey, this is the thing, man. I love Sean Lee, and it's just one of those things where I would rather develop the young Leighton Van Der Esch, and I would rather develop Jalen Smith and we need to just go out there and draft. Maybe we can find a Leonard or somebody like that who the Colts picked up this year in the second and third round, whatever he was drafted in. Maybe we can strike gold from there, But outside of that, I can lean a little bit what Voch Lombardi is saying. Maybe if he can have like one of those incentive-based contracts, then we can lean on that. But if not, shout out to him, man. Bye-bye. He can be a coach.
Y'all so cold-blooded, man. You cold-blooded.
Hey, I told you, when he was hurt that he needed to come off the bench. I know how beastie he is, but I'm sorry. He's always hurt. He's been hurt in college. He's tore both them knees. And every time it seems like we need him, something happens.
Is he not top tier though, James? But is he?
Yeah, but your legs and your hamstrings don't get better. That continues to get worse. We've seen it with Miles Austin. He eventually almost had to just pretty much retire and quit because of them daggone hamstrings. And I'm just saying, like, you're a beast, but you ain't never playing. So unless you take that incentive-based contract, you should just go ahead and be a coach with the Cowboys because you ain't going to go nowhere else, and just in my opinion, and all of a sudden be healthy at 33 years old and play magically these next 3 years and never get hurt for another team. I just don't believe that's going to happen.
I wouldn't dare coach for the Cowboys because the minute the linebackers play bad, they're going to look right at you and try to get you out of town. That's the first thing they're going to do.
Yeah, you're right. That's why I say, well, with the Romo thing. But at the end of the day, Sean Lee, I believe they have a kind of thing. They love Sean Lee, and I believe he will get kind of like Mark Colombo.
Sean Lee's amazing. Mark Colombo can't play. Sean Lee can still play.
What's your best ability?
You can't tell me when Mark Colombo came in with Dallas, his knee was shredded in Chicago, and they basically left him for dead. And he battled back from that knee to come over and take over that right tackle spot. You got to give Colombo some kind of props for that.
Sean Lee can play. Today, I'm talking about now. He can play.
I'll tell you, Sean Lee can play, but he don't play because he always hurt.
Let me tell you something. It
don't matter if you great if you ain't on the field.
Let me tell you something. If Sean Lee lay down and say out for 16 games, but he's ready these last 4, you just gonna say, "Well, no, Sean, just get out of here." If I can get Sean for 2 games, I'll take those 2 games.
Voch can't bank on that more. We banked on it. We waited again another year. This was another year that we were gonna see if he was gonna be healthy. And what happened? First few games gone.
And you want to know the best part about it? If he does lay down and get hurt, we got a young gangster looking like Ivan Drago ready to come out there and take over. We're not gonna be handicapped by it no more. Is what I'm saying, though, James. If Sean Lee can only give us 4 games, let's hold him to the most important 4 games of the year. Then that's what I'm saying. I like David.
So hold on. Let the people speak. Let the people speak. Those that's in the chat box, those who watching this post video,
I never let the people
just
speak.
comment down below. Let us know whether or not you would love to have Sean Lee back, or would you love to see the more development of LVE?
You know what they're going to say to that one.
I know. I'm setting them up. I'm trying to do the layup.
You already know what they're going to say to that one. They're going to say all LVE because, he's the thing right now. What do you think about them getting stubbed to the Pro Bowl? That's good because it popped up in my head. The Pro Bowl selections, we had some new guys get in. DeMarcus Lawrence got in. Great. Byron Jones got in with the, switching to the full-time cornerback. What do you think about LVE and Jalen Smith? Do you think they got snubbed? Do you think it was, you think they deserved a Pro Bowl? Or do you think that's just, it's just a fan thing right now? It didn't really matter.
Let me jump in on this.
Who cares?
I'm going to tell you right now. The Pro Bowl is trash.
Can I say something? Thank you, Law.
I don't like it. I'd rather wait for like the all pros, whatever that rating come out. And ever since they switched to Pro Bowl before the Super Bowl, it's been trash. They need to switch it back to after the Super Bowl so we can really see the original people that made it to the Pro Bowl play. I don't like the 50% or 30%, whoever the people that selected to the Pro Bowl are going to be at the Super Bowl, so they're not going to play. Then you get an alternate guy. And what that does collectively, it hurts the salary cap because now somebody say, well, I made Pro Bowl as an alternate, but I'm a Pro Bowl player. So therefore, you got to give me an extra $2 to $3 million. I'm all down for the players getting cash or what have you. But to me, it's a popularity contest. And then on top of that, they still don't know how to make the rulings, whether or not it's a 4-3 defensive or a linebacker or a 3-4 linebacker. So to me personally, just like I said, number 77, he has no business being in the Pro Bowl. And I do know that he got the silver and blue on his body and all over his chest and things like that. But to me, He's not playing Pro Bowl caliber.
crazy,
I'm
man.
hard-nosed. Yes, I said it.
Listen.
Hey, and Tyron Smith, if I see you, I say it to your
Yeah,
face.
yeah, he gonna hit you with that big club because you know he got a
Law.
brace on his arm.
Law, first of all, let me tell you something. Tyron Smith bigger than you think he is.
I'm just playing now.
Look, Law, I'm bigger than you. Tyron Smith way bigger than me. Cut it out.
All muscle.
This how I know football fans are insane. Because last year they looked at the Pro Bowl and said, you know what? It's trash. I'm done caring about it. My favorite players keep getting snubbed. I don't care. Next season, you know what? I don't care. My favorite player keep getting snubbed. I'm leaving. The exact next year, insanity. You keep doing the same thing. No change. You keep expecting change to happen. The Pro Bowl been trash. It been trash. Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith should be Pro Bowlers. Voch don't care. You want to know why Voch don't care? Let me look in the camera and tell you why Voch don't care. Because the Pro Bowl was trash last year. I fully expect the Pro Bowl to be trash this year. Insanity won't get me. It will not.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even know why they actually have the Pro Bowl any longer. I mean, back in the day when I was watching it, I'm an old schooler. It meant they played harder to me. It was
Trash
serious
back then.
business.
Trash back then.
It's just got commercialized. The internet done changed everything. Everybody wanted to look cool and switch jerseys and sign each other jerseys at the games and stuff. It ain't even competitive. I don't like it, and I think it should be more old school. But it is what it is. And I think definitely one of those guys or both should at least got a nod. They might get in there because we're going to have some kind of injury. And just like you said, Law, there's going to be some kind of injury and they're going to be in there as a Pro Bowl alternate. It'd be like a third player as an alternate because like two people like, I don't want to play in this game. They got an alternate and you're like, this dude, how did he really is playing in this Pro Bowl? It's just kind of weird to me how they kind of go out like that. So I definitely think they need to just change that format some other kind of way to make it competitive because nobody even watches the Pro Bowl anymore. Like, keep it real. Nobody watches it like they used to before. And it's just like you said, it's just a popularity contest. So they probably need to just change some things. And, yes, I love you, Tyron Smith, and please don't hurt me. But, yeah, I don't think he deserved it either.
Y'all scared, man. Y'all scared of Tyron Smith, man. Come on,
That's
now.
a big dude, dog.
Who cares?
Even the NFL players say it. So, they say it.
That man got one arm, man. What are you going to do to you, James? Come on now.
He gonna
Talk
hit
crazy
you
to
with that
him.
big club knee brace. He got, and you know what I'm saying? I'm slim fit. So, you know what I'm saying? One swing of that, it's a wrap for me. So, I ain't on that. But I ain't going to run from you. I'll probably say it and then kind of back up a little bit.
I'm running.
Hey, I can get him before he grabbed me, though.
No, you're not. No, you won't, because he can run too. He fast too. He faster than us too.
I want to ask y'all. So, the hot topic has been Dak Prescott. You said a little bit about it, Voch. We're about to wind down for the show for the Cowboys experience. So definitely appreciate Law, Voch being on here. Great insight that they both put out. And make sure you check out their breakdowns and videos. They're awesome. Check out both of their sites. It's second to none. I'm just pumping them up because I like sharing their videos because it's the truth. Just like you said, you can watch the game. Everybody watches the game and has the knee-jerk reactions, but you have to really watch the tape and you have to really know what you're watching because a lot of times when you say, oh, this is the reason, then you go back and watch the tape. Just like when I used to coach, kids would always be like, I was blocking, coach. Yes, I was. And I was like, all right, play. And then they're like, oh, dang, I guess I wasn't blocking. Yeah, exactly. The tape does change everything. But going forward, I'm frustrated with our fan base. I've had my things with Dak Prescott. I had a few rants about him, but I never not wanted him to be our quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I never not wanted him to be our quarterback. But why are we getting this situation where, man, everything that he does is like, just like you said, if a fullback drops a touchdown, Dak did it. If there's a sack, that's Dak's fault. If the receiver drops the ball, Dak did it. Why is this dude? I need to figure out why is this dude getting so much hate? And he's been a winning quarterback every year.
Fans are
he's
emotional.
Not had a losing season yet.
Because fans are emotional. Fans are emotional, and they look for a big hill to point at. They don't want to do the research. They don't want to do the homework, and partially because they're not equipped to do it. That's why my YouTube is so important, VOCHLOMBARDI. That's why Law Nation is so important. That's why this whole conglomerate, this whole deal that we're doing is why we're so important. Doggone, the 4-letter network got people out there saying Hunter Henry playing tonight. Hunter Henry ain't play all year. They're misinformed.
Right.
They're not watching the Cowboys as closely as we're watching the Cowboys. But our fan base, for whatever reason, they go to the 4-letter network for information. They don't come to us for information. But the ones that come to us for information are fully equipped with the knowledge and information to make a logical decision. I've talked so many emotional people off the ledge this last couple of days, Big Game James, with 3 questions. I got them written down here.
Tell me.
1, do perfect quarterbacks exist? 2, what matters the most when we evaluate quarterbacks? 3rd, how do you fix it? Those 3 questions sum up the entire situation, if you don't mind me filibustering on your show for a second.
Go ahead.
Dak Prescott didn't throw a touchdown versus the Colts, but neither did Andrew Luck. Drew Brees didn't throw one. Cam Newton also did not throw one. But wins and losses matter in that scenario. You know, we want to talk about Dak Prescott versus the Eagles. We want to get real micro with that analysis. Oh, he threw 2 interceptions before he went back to win the game. Well, Phillip Rivers on Thursday Night Football playing against the Chiefs also threw 2 interceptions, put his team in a hole, and fought his way out of it. But we don't look at the positive traits from young Dak Prescott. We don't look at the toughness. We don't look at the clutch ability. We don't look at his leadership, his team. How much more better would Peyton Manning be if he was clutch? Peyton Manning, the greatest quarterback of all time, in my personal opinion. How much more better would he be if he was clutch? You know what I'm saying? But people want to look at the things that don't matter. They want to look at, his feet. They want to look at his throwing motion. They want to look at all these other traits. But Big Game James, the only thing that matters when we evaluate quarterbacks is wins and losses. And Dak is the 2nd most winning quarterback since 2016 behind Tom Brady. That's all that matters. When quarterbacks get fired, it's because they lose too much. If quarterbacks get jobs, it's because they win. It's because they win. Matt Flynn's still making money because he won 1 game in Seattle one time and went got paid by 3 other teams because he won. Matt Castle played for the Patriots not because he's great, but because he won with the Patriots. So they kept giving him chances in the league. Wins and losses, the only thing that matters. When the Cowboys was trying to bench Tony Romo for John Kitna, it was because Tony was losing and John Kitna showed up and won 3 times. Okay, but when Tony Romo starts to win, Tony's the GOAT now. Tony's the GOAT. But when Dak wins 13 games, it's bench Tony. When Dak loses, bring Tony back. Wins and losses, the only thing that matters. But now all of a sudden, young Dak Prescott, who's yet to have a losing season, he's a winner, but all of a sudden, it just doesn't matter. Well, the team got to be perfect for Dak to win. I mean, I've seen Dak win games with Rod Smith. I've seen Dak win games with Cam Fleming, with Darren McFadden. I've seen Dak Prescott win ball games with all these people.
Chaz Green.
But all of a sudden, winning and losing doesn't matter. All of a sudden, when we evaluate young Rayne Dakota Prescott, because people get emotional. My third question, and I promise I'm gonna let y'all go. How would you fix it? How would you fix it? If I didn't get people off the ledge with those first 2 questions, how do you fix it? What you gonna go sign Zach Dysert? You gonna go get him? What you gonna go get Paxton Lynch? You gonna sign that guy? Let's go bring Sam Bradford up in here. No. Mark Sanchez. Dak is what we got. Not only is he a winner, but I think Dak is our absolute best option right now to win ball games. And that ain't me settling. It's about what works. If I can filibuster for 2 more minutes, and I promise I'm going to let y'all go. It's all about what works. It's not about the talent. Matt Stafford is a year more talented than Dak Prescott. Joe Flacco got way more arm talent than Dak Prescott, but it's all about what works. What can you put together to make this thing work? And apparently, it's working with Lamar Jackson, but it ain't working with Joe Flacco right now. So Joe Flacco got to go find a new job. So if I got a quarterback that's a winner, and I know he can win, because all he's done for 3 seasons is give me winning seasons, let's find something to make it work. And if that's drafting another offensive line, that's spending a first to go get a wide receiver up in here, if that's allocating all the resources to defense, dadgummit, let's do it. Because winning is the only stat that matters. My bad, y'all. Thank you for letting me speak. Go ahead. My bad. I'm done.
I love it. You spoke a lot of knowledge. Law, give me your Give me your dissertation of Dak Prescott.
Law ain't got nothing else to say because I said everything. I said everything.
Yes, indeed. Facts versus opinions. And he did level the facts there. Everyone have reasonings, but results are what matter. And the results of it is that he got 30 wins to 16 losses. And you can go a long way with that, guys. I understand that right now he got to work on anticipation, stepping up through his throws. But what young quarterback don't have those things that they need to work on? But the intangibles are way, way, way high and far, especially looking at a 4th-round draft pick. And I understand the Dak defender, the Dak apologist that everybody like to label me and Mark Holmes and Voch Lombardi for those who like to just bring out facts. But I can be critical a little bit with Dak Prescott, of course. Those are things that he needs to work on when he's going through his progressions. And then on top of that, this vertical offense, what Scott Linehan is working with Dak Prescott on, it make him work out for a Stafford. It make him work out for a Ryan and other guys who got elite arms. But for Dak Prescott, it's going to take time. And that's what Cowboy Nation, we are so spent because we waited over since, what's it been, 1995? And we had all these up and down seasons. As we call it in the stock market, we call it volatile. You know, it's just been so volatile when we had Ramos of the world. He'd throw you a nice pass. He'd throw you 5 touchdowns. But also he would throw you 3 or 4 interceptions and things like that. He would take chances. And we have been so drawn. Those who just don't like the Cowboys but love them, been so drawn and so entertained by that we now looking at Dak Prescott wanting and expecting for Dak Prescott to do the same things. But he's just not going to do that.
Right.
Dak Prescott is going to kill you with his legs, Mississippi State legs, right? And then he also can kill you with the RPO action. We fail to realize, and everybody, when we educate the nation, when we educate people out there that Ezekiel Elliott was our 1st-round draft pick. He was the 4th overall guy, not Dak Prescott. We're not going around here saying, hey, you know what? That Jordan Howard, man, he's not comparing to Ezekiel Elliott. Boy, that Jordan Howard. Then, of course, you will have your here's and there's of the kid that's over there in Denver. Denver just got a freaky way of finding guys that's undrafted that can run like that. I forgot his name. What's his name, fam? I know you know him.
I tell you what, Law, for every Phillip Lindsay that they got, there's a Devontae Booker that failed for them. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so you guys see that, you know, and then, of course, when y'all compare Dak Prescott to Patrick Money, man, Mahomes, my God, that's one in a generational guy, man. The guy is not created equally. You know, he's just from a lab somewhere, and it's just sad for us to try to compare him to Dak Prescott. What we need to do is just stay focused on what our 1st-round draft pick was, and that's Ezekiel Elliott, and stay focused on what this team can do to better this team collectively. And Dak Prescott, he's going to be around here, of course. I know a lot of people talk about salary and money, things like that. What? The NFL raised the salary cap for $4 million, right? 4.5, something like that. So that's more cachet that we got. So maybe you can pay Dak Prescott $20 to $25 million. I know it's not comfortable to say that, but look at the Carrs of the world who played for the Raiders. One can argue who got a nice offensive line, who had Omari Cooper, who had a veteran tight end, but couldn't win. Didn't have the intangibles that Dak Prescott exhibits. So Cowboys Nation, all we got to do is something about positive energy. If we can just focus and elevate the young man instead of throwing trash and dirt on him and giving him nicknames of Trash Scott and things like that, because I remember your names. I got some type of photographic memory that I can stick that back and remember. When we win, I'm looking for your name. I'm looking for your comment to bring that same energy. So it is what it is, Cowboy Nation, one way or another. Dak Prescott is our quarterback. And this weekend against the Buccaneers, I want to see Mississippi State Dak. That's what I want to see.
Just imagine the teams. Just imagine the teams that got Marcus Mariota, the teams that got Jameis Winston, but they just can't figure it out. You know what I'm saying? People want to hate on Jameis Winston. Jameis still one of the smartest quarterbacks I've ever seen. Still got great arm talent. Still got great touch and accuracy. Can't get it done though. Can't get it done because his infrastructure don't work. We know what works with Dak Prescott. We know exactly what needs to happen with Dak Prescott. I'll pay money for that. People want to cringe at the thought of Dak Prescott making $25 million. That's fine. Because at some point, the regular number going to be like 31. As Pat Mahomes going to get paid, and he going to demand $35 million. We're going to have Dak at a low number. So it is what it is, man. Pay the cost to do business.
Hey, I'm feeling y'all. Hey, I'm going to just say this just by listening to both of y'all. the biggest thing I always said about I loved about Dak was he's a winner. That was the biggest thing that more than anything else about Dak Prescott. I remember when I was inboxing you, Voch, like, tell me about Dak, man, dog. Talk to me about Dak, man. I'm frustrated right now. Talk to me. But we kept on, even in our conversation, we kept going back to he is a winner.
He wins.
And that's the biggest thing that came back to us. He's a winner. And Cowboys fans, I don't know why we acting like we spoiled because we ain't been winning nothing in a very long time, and he's been a winner every single season. So as much as sometimes I get critical and I get frustrated, I still love Dak, and I still want him to be our quarterback going forward and beyond. I don't want him to leave, and I want him to continue to get better. Now, I would like the situation like you had mentioned, Law, with Scott Linehan. Maybe that I would like for that to change because I believe if he got a coordinator that kind of fit his skill set, I feel like he would be even a better quarterback. I feel like we're not even seeing the best of him because he's being constricted, trying to make him some vertical guy, make him stand in the pocket all day. You know what is when when we do our play-by-play, when it's 3rd and 4, I be in my head like, Dak, it's okay. 3rd and 4, you can just run. Like, you ain't got to sit in that pocket and try to hold the ball and try to find somebody. 3rd and 4, just use them legs. I'm cool with that. Like, you are so much better when he starts getting that quick offense running, that no-huddle type offense, and he gets to moving and running around. Our offense seems to take off, and it seems to get right, like, jump-started. So, hopefully going forward, something like that can happen. I do want to ask a quick question before we head out of here. Do you guys know about the Tavon Austin update? I heard a little bit about that. He's working his way in. Where do you think he's headed? Do you think we'll get him before the playoffs?
I think what we're going to do with Tavon is what the coach did with us with T.Y. Hilton. You know, there was a game day decision. We didn't know whether or not to prepare for him or what have you. So I think that it should be a game day decision. I think that Tavon needs to get some reps out there before the playoff. And I think that he's a vital part for this team this weekend. Because I'm tired. I love Cole Beasley.
I don't want to see no more punt returns. No.
Right. Boy, you got some energy now.
Yeah, because I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Cole Beasley catch it, and when there's guys 10 yards away from him, and he's fair catching it. Like, you're not a threat. When you get the ball, you're running side to side because you don't want to get hit. Like, I get it. Like, he's never been a threat, and the only reason why we have him back there is because he can catch it and he won't fumble. That's the only reason why he's back there. Because he is no threat as a punt returner. So please, Tavon Austin, get healthy. But you jumping up and down on that bench, throwing the arms up at these games, and I be thinking you're okay. So I don't know. Just get on this daggone field because they paid you this money, and you always been hurt. Get on this field, and let's use what we need to use it for, dynamic.
And then he opened up the playbook a little bit more. I love what Amari Cooper do out there on the field, but that reverse sweep and the end around, that belongs to TA. So let TA get out there, the web back or what have you, and still have Amari Cooper on the outside, so maybe they can do a fake reverse. And now Amari Cooper just running up the seam, and now we're going to pump back a little bit on Scott Linehan, right? When Dak Prescott hit Amari Cooper down the field for 40 yards or 50-yard bomb as TA move around the side. So I would love to see TA out there again, and I think that they're going to do the same thing that the coach did for us last week. Just hold him and reserve him, and then say he's a game day decision, then he can have an explosive day, especially at home.
Well, let's hope so. So with that being said, I just want to thank you guys. We had another great Cowboys experience, another great talk. I appreciate both of you guys. Like I said, folks, thank you for everybody that tuned in today. Anybody's names I didn't mention, I do apologize, but we definitely appreciate everybody who tuned into the show. We love the comments that were rolling in constantly. A lot of people were giving feedback, agreeing with a lot of things that you were saying. But I definitely appreciate the breakdown that both of you guys gave and continue to give. Make sure, folks, go check out Law Nation. Make sure you go check out Voch Lombardi. You see the names up there, YouTube, Facebook. I know your thing is starting to bang now, on Facebook, Voch. Mm-hmm. So check out Voch Lombardi film sessions. They're awesome. We share them on the page as well. So salutes to both of you guys. Great breakdown, great talk. We'll be tuning into you guys next week with the Cowboys Experience, having some new guests, and make sure you tune in every single week for the Cowboys Experience because we're going to have it rocking, and wait till you see what we have coming up in store in the near future. So from me, Big Game James, Producer G, Law Nation, Voch Lombardi, salutes to all y'all, and we'll see you next week.
Shouts out
I
to
love
Dave
you,
Alexander.
Tyler Smith. Don't fight me.
Shouts out to Brian Brown, Dave Alexander. Shouts out to Nene Russell. Salute to all y'all. Vesison up here. Salute to y'all up in here.
Yes,
Joe
indeed. We
Sandberg
still
up here.
live like
Salute to y'all.
95.
Vince Sample up in here. Salute to y'all.
Outro.
Incognito up here. Salute to y'all. VA Finance up here. Salute to y'all.
And remember, you're listening to nothing.